Electric vehicle growth projections could go bust. I highly expect this to happen. So let's read this. Dateline, let's see, May 20th, I guess, from What's Up With That, May 22nd, What's Up With That. Ronald Stein, Ambassador for Energy and Infrastructure in Irvine, California. With a simple stroke of the pen, Governor Newsom believes he has the power to change the lifestyles of all California residents and control the supply-demand for society's and economy's transportation needs. Granted that half of the electric vehicles in the entire country are registered in California, the troubling news is that there may be warning signs about a bust in the electric vehicle growth bubble. The California statistics show the highly educated and financially well-off are currently the primarily owners of electric vehicles. Electric vehicle usage being slightly more than 5,000 a year is a reflection of the electric vehicle being the second vehicle and not the family workhorse. The growing percentage of electric vehicle owners that are switching back to gasoline cars, a message that may deflate electric vehicle growth projections. So everyone says, once you go to electric vehicle, you never go back. Apparently that's not true. Let's see what this article is about. Let's take a gander, shall we? 18% of electric vehicle drivers in California have switched back to gas. May 3rd, 2020, close to a fifth of all electric vehicle drivers in California have switched back to gasoline cars because charging their electric vehicles was a hassle, according to a new study bound to send ripples across an industry that has plans for market domination. The study from the University of California published in Nature Energy looked at drivers who bought EVs between 2012 and 2018 and found that 18% of battery electric vehicle buyers switched back to ICEs, as did 20% of plug-in hybrids. The main problem cited by respondents is that authors conducted with charging times. Yep, imagine that. All right, so let's keep going here. I'm going to share with you something else too. The larger and heavier gasoline-driven SUVs are currently half of the new car sales. Governor Newsom apparently did not read the required reading for the next electric vehicle owner. Drawbacks of electric vehicles. Before he announced on September 2020 an executive order to ban the sale of gas-powered vehicles by 2035. He's directing the state to require that by 2035, all new cars and passenger trucks sold in California be zero-emission vehicles. Maybe the residents of the other 49 states that collectively make up the other 50% of electric vehicles in America, approximately one per state, have read what Governor Newsom has not comprehended. There are 20 drawbacks of electric vehicle ownership. Short range anxiety, that's a big one right there, man. Just short range anxiety. Range anxiety is the number one factor when it comes to downside. Simple. Modern electric vehicles are still range limited due to small capacity batteries. Most affordable electric cars on the market have a bit more than 150-mile range. Long charging times. Either Tesla and Porsche have made significant improvements. Charging is still far from the speed to fill a gas tank. Putting the fuel in your car only takes a couple minutes compared to charging your vehicle overnight. Trip planning problems because of short ranges and trying to find on where you're going to charge up. That's a big deal. Mostly good for urban use. Yep. Not so environmentally friendly after all. Too expensive. Repair difficulties. If you own an EV, you can forget going to your local auto guy to fix it inexpensively. Regardless of the type and model, all electric vehicle requires specific maintenance and service procedures. That could be rectified with a market demand. Too heavy. Some of the high-end models like Tesla Model X, the battery pack weighs 1,000 pounds. Also, car itself weighs 2.3 tons. Cold temperature issues. Where the winters are cold and snowy, cold weather battery drain can be a big problem for everyday life, everyday use. Owners reported a reduced range and even a failure to operate in especially harsh winter conditions. That could be life-threatening. Low top speeds, highway driving consumption. That's interesting. The advertised range that many manufacturers brag about is the average or city driving figure. However, the highway range is much smaller, sometimes 50% less. That's interesting because that's the exact opposite of ICEs. High heavy load consumption. No matter how strong or big your battery pack, the energy consumption under a heavy load is excessive. Ease of tracking your movements, just plain ugly, yeah, maybe. Threatening existing economic models. Some economic experts fear that mass production of EVs and focus on this kind of technology will destroy the current economic model. Also, think about the enormous car industry with all the companies that make fuel-related products. Okay, well, that's disruptive right there for sure. That's the creative destruction. Major car companies are not so sure. Although almost all the major car manufacturers have at least one EV in their lineup, most of their CEOs are not fully convinced that EVs are the future of the industry. Practically unusable in third world countries, that's 100%. The EV craze is limited to just a few first world countries. Even China, the world's biggest market, has a hard time implementing any initiatives for electric cars. You know why? Because they can't get cheap electricity. Buyers still consider them a gimmick, and the EV cannot be the only car in your household and a hard sell. Most drivers lease their electric vehicles and then return them to the dealer after a few years to get a new model. However, those people who bought EVs could experience great difficulty selling them on the used car market. Time will tell, so we shall see. I want to share with you another article on this. Hold on just a second. Stockman, the cryptoverse, bastard son of the fiat. He's talking about Elon Musk and the cryptocurrencies, but we're just going to talk about Elon Musk here. Again, recall that too recently, Tesla, which said sold 500,000 vehicles last year, had a larger market cap than the entire incumbent global auto industry, which sold 65 million units. Yet Tesla has never made a dime manufacturing and selling its EVs. For instance, it recently reported that the first quarter 2021 net income of $438 million on 185,000 cars delivered. But that profit was based on a $518 million of regulatory credit sales and $101 million positive gain from its Bitcoin position. Again, they had a positive net income of $438 million on 185,000 cars. But that profit was $518 million of regulatory credit sales and $101 million positive gain from its position in Bitcoin. Strip these out, and Tesla lost $181 million just selling cars. Stated differently, during the past quarter alone, Tesla lost just under $1,000 per car. For want of doubt, here's what Tesla has been patenting with its financials, namely, regulatory credits are sold to, well, GM, Ford, Fiat, Chrysler, and the rest of Tesla's regular way auto competitors, who must pay tribute to the loudmouth from Silicon Valley in order to comply with clean energy standards. When you subtract the above government manufacturing and soon to disappear income, here's what Tesla actually generated on the bottom line. Rather than its ballyhooed 7 consecutive quarters of positive net income, it actually has produced 10 straight quarters of red ink. But here's the thing. The world's second richest man at a recent net worth of $170 billion is a fiat baby. That's because the above phony regulatory income will soon disappear entirely as the incumbent car makers belatedly field their own EV fleet offerings and no need to pay tribute to Elon. That's why, in part, Ford Motor has literally jumped the shark recently, announcing it will spend $30 billion on electrifying up to 25% of its fleet, including its monster-selling Ford F-trucks. And of course, that comes on top of the 200 more EV models being brought to market by Volkswagen, Porsche, Mercedes, Toyota, blah, blah, blah. That is to say, Tesla's regulatory credit income will vanish even as excruciating price competition and tens of thousands of competitor showrooms drive Tesla car deeper and terminally into the red. To be sure, the Silicon Valley types like to blabber about the first mover advantage and Elon the Great Disruptor, but the automotive future is not about batteries, disruptors, or first movers. On the contrary, it's about vast time-tested global supply chains, automotive engineering and design capabilities, precision volume manufacturing of millions of cars per year with minimal scrappage and quality defects, and far-flung channels of distribution and sales. Tesla has nothing at all to offer it. It's simply the retro idea of the electric car in the 1890s, not the internal combustion engine was the right idea after all. A dubious proposition that may nevertheless be right if the green fascists get their way and make 275 million combustion engines illegal now in American garages. But the idea that Tesla will win if Americans are forced into EV en masse is sheer hype. A speculative bubble that vastly exceeds anything which has come before it, and the latter is exactly the same propellant beneath Musk's beloved cryptos. Someday the blockchain may prove to be better venue for financial transactions than the existing banking machinery, and so be it. Yeah, but anyway, that's there you go. So even that's kind of saying Tesla in of itself is in a hurting unit. I'm just telling you, man, the electric vehicles, it's all about the battery, and it's gonna be serendipity that defines the battery. But until you get a battery, it's just there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Yeah, but we'll see. All right, we'll see. Yeah.